And there we go. So good morning. Good morning, you guys from the Carolina coast, Crystal Coast. I hope everybody is doing well. We've had a number of friends. I gotta look up at the video. I'm not the
I know.
screen.
I'm looking at the screen.
Yeah. We're trying out the outdoor office today. It's humid as all get out, and there's no breeze coming off the water this morning. So we're here sweltering. But Mandy, good morning. I hope you're well. Wow, it's kind of it's not too early out there. How you doing, David? Want to talk a little bit about anxiety because that's something that has affected us, and it's something that Christine has worked through, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful that we found something that helped her. But as a lot of people are asking about that and asking how she did it, we already made a YouTube video. Some folks have been asking, how are things going now? What else are you doing? What more can we do? So before we get too far into it, product disclaimer, legal stuff, right? Like we're not doctors, we're not medical professionals.
Nope.
In fact, I'm full-time doing something else, and she is
I am a teacher and stay-at-home mom,
which is awesome. Love that. She's able to be here for the kids. So product disclaimer. The things that we say, not evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. Products aren't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We're sharing this from our own personal experience. We read a lot of studies, a lot of news articles that are based on factual findings, observations by doctors, researchers, any number of other natural health practitioners. But Christine, I want to start with the fact that you had anxiety even before I knew you. For those of you guys that don't know, Christine is my wife, by the way. Like we are doing this very much like an interview.
I know,
but
it feels weird.
I can't screw this up because I'm hoping to be able to sleep in my bed tonight. Like when did you first realize that you had anxiety?
When I first became aware of it was in college. I realized what it was. Before, I was just very nervous to talk to people, and I was always extremely shy, but it was more of looking back, I realized it was anxiety, social anxiety. I was completely terrified to get up in front of the class, and I didn't want to talk to anybody, but I didn't realize until college what it actually was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple different indications. It showed up a little bit different for you.
Yes. I kind of feel like I've had every form of anxiety, social anxiety, generalized anxiety, and the worst was hypochondria, which I was not diagnosed with hypochondria, but I had it. So yeah, a pretty extreme hypochondria, which started after my sister got really sick suddenly, and thank God she's fine now. But that kind of set me off to where I would worry about being sick all the time. If I felt any kind of weird sensation in my body, it would send me into a panic. I would have panic attacks, and I started having panic attacks every single day, which is not fun.
So if you guys are just jumping on, I'd love to know where you're watching from. If you're watching live, if you could write number 1 in the comment. If you're watching a replay, number 2. But that is kind of the point. Christine had mentioned, you'd mentioned a bad flight in Europe that you had, and I have known about your fear of flying since we were just getting engaged. Since before then, because we drove across the country and you talked about how difficult it was to fly.
To fly, yeah. That's something that has always made me a little bit nervous, but it's gotten worse over the years, or it got worse over the years. And I think I was not having that control, feeling out of control, and not knowing what was going to happen, which, played into the anxiety.
Yeah. And I mean that as a husband, back then as a boyfriend I didn't understand as a boyfriend. We were 25 when we first started dating. She drove across the country with me. We did a 10-day road trip. We did a 10-day road trip after we'd been dating for a month and a half. how that was a good idea. Like, it worked out really well, and thank God, because like I'd probably be buried in the desert somewhere, and she'd have
We
a really
just
nice
clicked.
Dodge. We
That's
clicked.
why.
I did not understand the significance of her flying across the country until we actually got married. I think that was our first flight together, and we flew from Pennsylvania.
We flew
out to San Diego,
to Pennsylvania, and then back.
And I got off the flight, and my fingers were blue because you'd been squeezing my hand so hard. So
yeah, I don't like it.
No, and I didn't get it. So that was kind of my first opportunity to understand, and I didn't understand. You mentioned, the hypochondria with your sister.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys out there that are watching right now, if you know anybody going through that, it's difficult. It's difficult to watch if you have somebody in your life that you come home to.
Yeah.
And there were days, and this is kind of getting deep in the weeds, but there were days that you came home and you were visibly upset.
Yeah.
And there wasn't anything I could do to comfort you.
Well, there honestly wasn't anything that I could have done personally either at the time to pull myself out of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. When you get into that state, you're inconsolable, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like that in the moment. So.
And that was humbling. That was very, very difficult. They're obviously very worried about you. You were worried about yourself.
Yeah.
Google is your worst enemy at that point in time. As people are looking for a solution, going on Google, all you're going to find is bad news. You're not going to find any good solutions on Google. Well, very, very seldom will we find good solutions. You might find some good recipes.
Right.
So anxiety it's an ass kicker for everybody involved.
The worst thing about anxiety is that it takes over your entire day, and it makes you worry about everything all day long, even the silliest little thing that there's no reason to worry about it, but it gets into your mind and it turns into this huge thing, and it really can paralyze you. It can keep you from going out. It can keep you from wanting to let your kids go have fun somewhere. It really permeates every aspect of your life and ruins your day.
Yeah. So, the video that you made on YouTube, it's gotten a lot of attention. The question as to what did you do? I remember the day that like something needed to change. I didn't know that you'd been praying for change. I didn't know that you realized how significant it was because you were down that path. And
well, at the point that my anxiety got super bad was right after we had moved from North Carolina to Quantico. It was a very difficult move for me. My anxiety was already really high because of just the change and the new place. Our son was starting kindergarten, which terrified me. And so my anxiety was already heightened. And then once my sister got sick, it kind of just clicked everything over to worrying about my health, which I had never really done before. But that really just kind of set it over because I already felt so unsettled in our new place. And then when she got sick, it just pushed it into a different dimension.
Yeah.
So that was when I started having all the panic attacks every day, and literally all day long my mind was racing. But I knew that it was a problem. I just didn't know what to do about it. Because I did try things like I went to a counselor. She suggested some GABA supplements, which I tried and I thought they were working, but they really didn't. I went to the doctor and tried 2 or 3 different medications, but they all made me feel very angry, or like one night I woke up and I felt like I was racing somewhere, and of course I was just laying still.
Yeah.
And I did not like that sensation. And the bad thing about having anxiety is taking your anxiety meds gives you more anxiety because you're worried about what those meds might do to you. So it's kind of a double whammy there.
And that was probably one of the most challenging times, I think, for us as you were going through that. And I remember, if I can get into the nitty gritty details, like I remember coming home the one day and you were in the bedroom. You were on your side of the bed, which is tucked off in a corner, and you were just sobbing. And I think I was trying not to break down. And that was when we realized that um, there was something that was missing. Mm-hmm. There was something that needed to change.
Well, I had been trying everything. Yeah. I felt like I was trying everything and nothing was working. So if you're, highly aware of what the problem is, you feel like you've tried everything and nothing is working, it can make you feel hopeless alongside of dealing with the anxiety.
Yeah. So through this all, faith was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Can never underestimate the power of prayer.
Yeah.
Chris, Mike, I appreciate you guys joining us. And I don't even remember if it was a podcast. I think it was on the radio.
I don't know.
We were just looking. We were, I think, open-minded and almost at a point of being stumped and confused and concerned. Mm-hmm. And somehow I heard about hypnosis.
Yes.
And
he suggested it.
And
I said, okay. Huge. I mean, I didn't know if it would work, but at the point, like I said, I was pretty desperate at that point. So we looked up you had found the hypnotist online already. And I went and downloaded a hypnosis app on my phone, and I just happened to get a really good one. So I laid down in bed and did that hypnosis app for 30 minutes. And I could tell that when I was done, I started to feel a little bit calmer. So I thought, well, if the app can help me, then I'll definitely give a real hypnotist a try. So I went to see Jason Lynette, who's amazing, up in Franconia, Virginia, and 3 sessions with him. And I won't say that I was completely cured, but I was in a completely different place. In my second session, I literally could feel the anxiety just leave. I don't know how he does it.
And that was the one you came home and you were in tears.
I was crying. I cried in the middle. I cried all the way home because I felt such relief. It was incredible. It was an amazing experience.
And so that was probably like a 75% solution for you. You were good. There were still times that you were questioning things.
Yeah.
I think it was uncomfortable after being in that cycle for so long.
Yeah, that's another thing about anxiety. I don't know if other people experience that, but when you're so used to being anxious and worrying, it's almost like you feel like the worry protects you in a way. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody, but that was how I felt, was like, if I worry about it, everything will be okay, which is kind of crazy. So once you stop worrying, that can kind of make you a little nervous too. I mean, for me anyway. I don't know if anyone else feels that way.
Yeah. If you guys know, or if you know somebody who feels like that, please let them know, because we're trying to share a little bit more and raise awareness for the fact that you don't have to endure that.
Yeah. Life is not meant to be lived that way.
No. And so we're gonna fast forward over the stuff that's gonna get us both into tears. We had a very difficult January 2016 when both of our moms passed away, and so a few months after that is when I was introduced to Plexus. And for those of you guys that don't know my whole story, I had been expecting my mom to pass. She had a very productive and good life, and complications of polio at 78, 79. Mom did very well for herself. And what we hadn't expected was for Christine's mom to go just 18 days before that. And that broke our hearts. Absolutely. Just, you think about the grieving cycle and the way that people communicate after all that. We were off by 18 days from one another. And with the anxiety and everything else combined, it was a godsend when this guy named Jeremy reached out to me and offered to help with the fatigue and the stress that I've been dealing with. And I don't know, the last time I paid any attention to science was probably 11th grade. So I really didn't care about anything that had to do with science and about making the gut better. It didn't make sense. I think I was looking for a string to hold on to.
Yeah. And I don't think most people understand. It's not something that's talked about, how your mental state and your immune system and everything is tied to your gut. It's not, I mean, it is a little bit more now, but it's not something most people are taught or know about.
A little bit more. And that's actually, you guys probably see that in your day-to-day life. You think about, you can buy cereal with probiotics in it, which it's not a measurable amount.
Cereal, yogurt, juice.
All these different
gummies, gummy vitamins, everything.
Everybody is promoting probiotics, and there's actually a reason to that. And we didn't know that at the time.
No.
We just simply knew that I wasn't napping as much. I was in a better mood.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little bit less stressed out, but I was still carrying a college semester while dealing with all of that. That was a lot. And so probably 6 months after I did it, I really did it. I was all in after I quit taking naps, but it wasn't quite the same for you until we discovered the connection between the microbiome, which is the world of bacteria that lives inside your gut, the connection between the microbiome and anxiety and depression and inflammation, migraine headaches, fatigue,
pretty much everything.
Everything. So, I mean, as we started to learn about that, we discovered that there's 80 million brain cells in your gut. So you've got a brain, and then you've got like 80 million brain cells that also control your digestive system. And that's, hey, Colleen, that's kind of geeking out to this stuff, but you've got to take care of that second brain. And it's really, really difficult because when you're taking all kinds of medications, when you're taking anti-inflammatories, when you're drinking caffeine all the time, soda, artificial sweeteners, all of these different things, it's poisoning you. Your body can't handle that day after day after day without having some type of response. And so I think it was it convention when you really realized the potential with anxiety? There was a point that you realized, you know what, I want to give it a shot.
I don't remember the exact point it was. I had just been taking the triplex, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. I don't even remember the timeline, honestly. But I realized...
She was humoring me. I'm sorry. Totally humoring me.
No, sorry. I don't remember the exact timeline that what it was. Yeah. But even though the hypnosis helped me a million times, I would still worry about things a lot. But then I realized that I wasn't worrying quite as much. So then that was when I don't remember, but all of a sudden I just realized I wasn't worrying quite as much. I wasn't praying obsessively, asking for protection from everything. Yeah. I realized I wasn't doing that all the time. And then at convention was when they announced Vital Biome.
Yes.
So that was, when they really put a focus on the anxiety part of it.
So happy moment for the husband to be able to offer the hypnosis. That helped. That helped a lot. Not to say that everybody needs that, but it helped a lot. But I remember looking over at convention, and you were in tears. You were red-faced. You realized like that breakthrough moment.
I think it was such almost like a moment of gratitude that someone, like a big company, was actually putting a focus on the real solution to it. So I think that was a big part of it. Was like excitement and gratitude. Like, this is something that's actually going to work, because I had tried a lot of stuff over the years.
Yeah. So you did that. I can tell the difference. I know you guys are you guys, Colleen, I appreciate it. Triplex and Vital Biome, absolutely. They help quite a bit. There's a reason there are certain bacteria strains that can actually influence your mood.
Yeah.
There are bacteria strains. There's a TED Talk out there talking about, testing bacteria in mice. And there's a certain bacteria where the mice lose their fear for cats. And so the mice are actually attracted to the cats, and the cats are attracted to mice, but they're attracted for different reasons. And, the power of the microbiome and the bacteria in our gut, we're just starting to understand really what it's about. And grateful for the fact that Plexus has been bringing attention.
Yeah, they're making the connections.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
They're looking at all the studies.
All the other times when I looked for help, it was take this pill and it'll calm your nerves. But it was not solving the problem. It was just zoning me out, I guess, is the way.
How many side effects came with those pills?
Oh, enough to boost up my anxiety, that's for sure.
So when you walk away from the pharmacist and they're like, here is a pill bottle, and this wasn't the prop that I planned on using, but here's a pill bottle that is going to make your symptom better, and like here's the book of solution or of other complications that you may endure. Like you may end up on 5 different medications. Who wants that?
Nobody
it's
really
miserable.
Wants that.
Yeah, nobody wants that at all. It takes away from the life that you want to live.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy is currently
living the great
life that she wants to live right now. I'm looking over at this dog.
Stacy doesn't need Vital Biome.
No, she's good. She could have ProBio. Our vet has actually recommended ProBio 5 for her coat. I'll tell you. I mean, it has been an absolute blessing as the husband.
Yeah,
to see you more calm.
It's been a journey. I don't want to give off the impression that, I took this pill and now I feel perfect, because it has been a journey of going through the hypnosis. And like I said, I did 3 sessions with him, and that one session did a lot of good. But I still do maintenance hypnosis with that app. If I do get those moments where I'm like, okay, I need to stop worrying about this, I can listen to that, and that brings me back down. And then, it's a process over a few years. And then taking the triplex, that took 2-3 months. I can't remember now. I'm sorry. Yeah. My memory is bad, but
there was a moment when she agreed to humor me, and I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, I think it's made our marriage better. It's made our peace of mind better. It's been incredible. And you mentioned maintenance. How often do you do hypnosis now? I think I've heard you do it once or twice in the past couple of months.
Yeah, it's sporadic. Maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, if I watch the news a little bit more.
Yeah. And there was a moment.
I think that's another part of it too, is bringing the good stuff into your life. If you know what your triggers are for anxiety, then you need to get rid of them. Like the news is always a trigger for me, because of course the news doesn't talk about anything but bad stuff. So I don't look at the news, and you know what? That's fine.
Yeah.
So every now and again I'll glance at a headline, and I'm a happier person without it.
You guys wouldn't know because you're in my feed, but there was a giant purge that we had for our Facebook of everybody who was negative. And it was fantastic. What's going on, Lago? Yeah. It was fantastic to purge all that negative energy and just be surrounded by people that were optimistic and making changes in the world around them and doing all those things. There was a moment I'm going to share. Hey, Misty. There was a moment I'm going to share. It was a month ago, and I think we were actually sitting out here on the porch, and I was listening to Hillsong United, and I look over, and Christine's like, I think I just had a panic attack. And she did. You were very, very calm about it.
It was very fast, but this makes me sad because I really like the song. But at the same time, this song was a faith song that I listened to a lot right after our moms died. So I didn't even realize it at the time, but it was causing me anxiety because it triggered that memory. So it was very fast, but all of a sudden I was like, I felt like I couldn't breathe, and then it passed,
and you came back and everything was good.
It was good. But,
so yeah. I mean, that's incredible, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the side effects of the medication.
Yeah.
But they're horrible.
I mean, just in comparison, if you really want me to compare how it used to be. When I used to have those panic episodes, I don't know if I was an overachiever, but I could take it out all day. And I could worry at a heightened sense literally all day, and then the panic attack could last, I don't know, several minutes. Like the actual worst heightened part of it could last a long time. Yeah.
So
to have one quick, be done.
Yeah.
That was much better.
And it was very much controlled. So I mean, overall, going from every day coming home when you were at your peak, every day you were in tears. There is nothing that you can do, at least not that I've found, help somebody having a panic attack, because it is very much something you can be there for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
What helped me was to realize what it was, and then just to tell myself, this is a panic attack. You're going to be fine. You're having a panic attack. You're going to be fine, over and over and over again until it went away. That was my solution.
Yeah.
No one told me that. That's just what I started doing that worked.
Yeah. And then to bring it all around, I mean, the multifaceted approach, both the mental state for you very much for prayer, and we're huge believers, but between faith and the hypnosis, which is powerful, and then actually taking control of
what you put in your body too.
There are differences in probiotics. We are, I think, forever faithful to our stuff. We experiment. We try different doses from time to time. If we're getting sick, we'll up the dose, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the reason that those probiotics were put in there by the scientists that we love, those probiotics were chosen because they have been clinically demonstrated to show relief from a huge variety of symptoms. And they're also added in the proper dosing.
And what we also learned is that 90% of serotonin, the happy chemical, is actually produced in your gut. So if your gut is working and has the right balance, then you're going to produce more serotonin, which makes you feel calmer and happier overall.
Yeah. And if we're talking serotonin, we should probably talk melatonin, which is what helps you sleep. So as you're laying awake in those nights that your mind just won't quit racing, your body having both the serotonin and then the melatonin, which 80 to 90% of the melatonin being made in your gut, that is going to help you rest better. You're going to get a better quality of sleep.
Yeah, you can sleep very well.
I have an itch. I feel like I'm going to sneeze.
I would say if the melatonin production definitely helps you sleep. I sleep very well now. For me, if there's times when I feel like I can't fall asleep right away, that's when I go to the hypnosis app and I turn that on, listen to it, calms me down. And I fall asleep before it even is past the introduction.
She falls asleep really quick.
Yeah, I do. I'm tired.
She was snoring like crazy last night.
Probably was.
Oh, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. My bad.
So I appreciate you guys joining us. A lot of people jumped on. I appreciate all the comments and all the love, you guys. This is something that we're passionate about. We've had friends who have reached out to us, and we have friends who have come off medications under the supervision of a doctor, not doctors.
Don't just stop taking your meds. Please do not do that.
Not doctors. The FDA disclosure that we had at the beginning applies, but we've had friends that have come off medication for any number of different issues, anxiety, depression,
folks after being evaluated by their doctor,
and all kinds of other stuff, and the doctor has looked and agreed, this is a good plan for you. So if that is something that you were looking for, if you want to know a little bit more, if there's a question that maybe we didn't answer,
I'm very happy to talk about anxiety, because I know it's horrible. So if I can help you out, I'm happy to.
So appreciate you guys jumping on. Please, if you watch the replay, leave us a little comment. Let us know that you were here. And feel free to like and share as well. We'd like to get the message out that you can live a better life. Yeah, there is help.
Yeah, there is help.
So, all right. Have a good weekend, you guys.